welcome back to Smash S Podcast. This is going to be our recap for All Stars Episode 2. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
Best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Very subdued. You're in a subdued mood. Subdued mood.
Dude.
I'm in an irritated mood.
No, you're subdued mood, dude.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Subdued dude.
Well, look.
Subdued mood, dude.
A lot of this has to do with the rain.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted
not
to mow
even
my
just-
yard tomorrow.
Not even just the rain. There's a huge storm that's coming through right now, and it's got about golf ball-sized hail and 60 miles per hour straight-line winds.
16 miles.
60.
I got my second shot of Pfizer vaccination today.
Yay!
Thank you, guys. I've been fine. I didn't have any issues with the first shot. The second shot, no issues. My arm's not even sore. I do have a headache now, though, but it also could very much be just because the weather changing, like they're talking about.
Weather-induced.
But I think it's a little bit of both, just based on like where it's located. Jake, you're raising your hand. There we go.
Can I raise my hand, too?
A couple of questions. Was it a man or a woman?
Does it matter?
The vaccine, was the vaccine a man or a woman?
No, it was the person who initiated it.
The nurse?
It was a different nurse both times because they're 3 weeks apart. They were both women.
Okay.
A man led me back to the room, if that helps. I don't know where you're going with this.
When they gave the shot,
Uh-huh.
they stuck it in your arm, and they went to, do like they do with a syringe. They press it down with
They
their
push
thumb.
it in.
Yeah.
Did she go, pow?
No. Neither one of them did.
But why does it matter if it was a man or woman?
I don't know.
I don't know where he's going.
I had no issues. And honestly, I thought I'd be waiting for a long time for the first one. I was in and out in like 10 minutes. And then this one, I was in and out so fast. Like, I walked in there, and they gave me a form to fill out that's just like a 10-question thing with like your name and birthday, and then like, have you received whatever. And before I could even get like halfway through, they're like, all right, we're taking you back to your room. And I was like, I'm not done yet. And they're like, it's fine, just bring it with you. And before I had the form filled out, I just finished filling out the last thing.
You have to sign it before they'll give it to you.
Yeah, she was like, you ready? And I was like, yep. And then she's like, okay, bye. And
She didn't get to you.
no, I got
Just
it.
made him sign the questionnaire
I
and
got
then made him leave.
I got the card and I got the Band-Aid.
And you got the Sailor Moon gift.
Did they write great job on the card?
Did they give you a star sticker?
They don't give you a performance review afterwards.
Well done.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
she
like
didn't-
a green light for
she
being
didn't-
good?
She didn't chastise me, so
Well,
I'm assuming I did
It's
okay.
a whole red light, but the green one's lit up.
Yeah, they gave you an actual red light.
I'll tell you what I'm also irritated about, and you guys may not want me to get into it, but
No.
Zach's grandmother made cookies,
Yeah, you're real
Okay.
bad about
and
that.
I can't have one.
She makes chocolate chip cookies from scratch, and they are bomb. It's like a thing for like the whole family, and like friends of the family know about these cookies. And so she came up today to Zach's parents' house, and we went over there a little while ago, and she had made a whole tin of cookies, and Zach's mom had packed 4 chocolate chip cookies for Zach and I to take home. Well, Zach ate both of his 2 cookies the minute we walked in the door, and there were 2 left in the container laying on the island, and Jake tried to take one, and I said, no, there's 4 cookies, and 2 of those are mine. And he said, well, there's only 2 left. And I said, that's because Zach ate his already, so you're not getting mine.
Do you
And
want to split
then
the last one?
I took one of my 2 cookies, and I brought it in here and ate it in front of Jake.
A lot of reasons to be upset tonight.
That cookie was good, Jake.
I love cookies.
I do too.
I think chocolate chip cookies might be my, like, if I had to pick a favorite dessert.
It's a classic.
That
It's
might
hard
be
to get
mine.
that wrong.
It's hard to
It
beat
is.
that too. Like for a
Both
really
of those.
good one, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you?
Because cakes can sometimes suck.
Yeah.
If
Like-
it's too dry, I like a nice moist cake.
She likes a big wet cake.
Let that thing drip.
I don't even bake mine.
Yeah.
Just drink it right out of the pan.
Mm.
You got to get one of those milkshake straws though, the thick ones that are real big. Yeah.
So Patreon Neen,
Okay.
zzz,
Yeah.
Patreon Neens is doing a new
Yes.
fantasy segment.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see.
It's fantasy points for us, not
Yeah, so that Jake is not making the points.
I'm
right?
not making the points for this. This is all Neen's venture. Not only is she going to be the greatest nurse in the world,
she's also going to be the greatest fantasy points creator in the world.
Yeah, and they're specific to us. And I don't... But she's the only one playing, so I think she wins no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's to prove a point to me and you in particular, Zach, because we made a point on a Patreon pod, Redemption House, about how Han here, when a question is asked, you really don't know where it's going to go or how long it's going to go. A simple question as what's your favorite cereal can venture into the Himalayas somehow.
Why do you bring this up all the time?
And so, or the scenic route in Denver, Colorado, it finds its way. And so, am I taking too long? You're looking at the time.
I literally just glanced over. I don't even know what time we're on. I just make sure we're recording still.
Well, so we made that point, and she jumped in. She popped in the Slack group about how we go on too, and you made it a point to say, but when we go on, she's speeding us along. She's doing this.
That's what they don't see.
Right. That's what they don't see. So by the next episode, the regular pod that everybody listens to, some people in our Slack group, first time, like, there goes Zach and Jake, now they're ranting.
Well, here's the thing. Our show has been...
Yeah, she did point that out. She had gotten into it. And she's like, Jake and Zach both had tangents.
Our show is
and
built
Hannah
on
hasn't had
tangents.
one yet.
Here's the context of mine and your ranting. I asked you about the new Godzilla King Kong, and we talked about it for about 90 seconds. You have a track record for going 10 plus minutes.
No way.
Am I right?
No way.
Yes.
He's specifically cited
that and the Tennessee,
one.
the whole when somebody asked if I was going to move, they weren't even moving.
Patreon.com/SmashingHits podcast. We have a Patreon specific podcast. That's where both of these things are coming from with Jake. But no. Like, our show is built on tangents. And that's what I said in the Slack group. I was like, we know that. Like, our show is conversational. It's never been like we have a strict mandate. Yeah. And so we know that's happening.
A good word, Jake.
But the point was, people were like, you guys go on tangents too. I'm like, yeah, we know that. The thing is, what happens with Hannah that they don't see is behind the scenes, when we're audio only, we'll start talking about stuff, and then she'll just be like annoyed and like, come on, guys, like not saying it, but like moving her hand motions, like speed it up, let's go. And we're just like, the audacity.
Yeah, the Hannah tangents average in the range of 6 to 7 minutes because they venture off into so many areas. Again, nobody's mad about this. No, but it's a bizarre thing for me to sit back and experience how you do this,
It's because I have spaghetti brain and you guys have waffle brain because you're boys. Mm-hmm. And girls have spaghetti brain. And that is, like, once I start on one end of the noodle, it's going to swirl around.
You need to get a pair of scissors.
Cut that thing off.
It's going to go
like
in a lot of different places.
An umbilical cord. Guys, if you haven't listened to
Is that what you think it's called?
Did I say it wrong?
I think you said umbilical cord.
Well, nobody taught me going through school how to properly say unbiblical.
That's not it either.
Which one is it, Zach?
Nobody tell him.
It's not either one of those. It's not unbiblical, and it's not anbiblical.
Hey, Siri.
How are you going to ask her if you don't know how to say it?
How do you say unbiblical? She just said good evening.
Hey Siri, what is the cord called between a mother and a baby?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the cord called between a mother and a baby. Check it out.
Well, she just linked me the article. She didn't say
Ask
it.
her how to pronounce it.
You can type in the word and hit pronunciation and it'll play in here.
No, I know how to say it. This is not the issue.
Where's Alexa?
You don't know what the word is. That's the issue.
Let me see how it's spelled.
You said unbiblical, or it may not have been unbiblical, but it was unbiblical. It doesn't have anything to do with the Bible. And then it was anbiblical, and there's definitely not an A at the beginning of it.
Umbilical.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
it's not a biblical issue.
I didn't go to college, so.
Well, you went for one day.
One day.
And then you just stopped going.
That's right.
Yeah,
the government didn't get me my financial aid.
That's a whole nother story. That maybe need to be on a Patreon pod one time.
I think we've talked about it.
I don't think we've ever gotten fully into it, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we watched All Stars. Also, if you haven't listened to the West podcast, go do that. Video is on our YouTube channel. And I did get an update that the stuff we sent him is on its way. It's in Ohio for some reason. But it'll be in Kansas soon.
Well done.
Thank you. Also, if you, for some reason, are a patron that's listened to this and not the last episode for Double Agents, if you're a newer patron, all of the mail-out stuff, if you did not opt out of physical mailings, it went out yesterday.
Also, your ringtones are available in that pod as well.
That is true. And we did a lot of takes of that. So let's get into episode 2 of All Stars, which, by the way, I think we all have decided another great episode.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's just, that's the thing. It's just, it's not heavy. It's not over thought out. It's not overcomplicated. They just know, oh, this is what the viewers like. It doesn't matter if it's similar to stuff we've seen in the past. It's a format that works.
Oh, speaking of last week's episode, was that not the episode that had Return of the Mac?
Episode 1?
Yeah.
Yes,
It
Yeah.
also had a DMX song in it, which rest in peace.
Rest in
DMX.
peace. I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast or
No.
on the podcast in general. When we watched episode 1, Return of the Mac came on, and
I think we
Jake,
probably talked about it in the podcast.
well, in case you didn't know, Jake freaked out about it, had never heard the song, and then the following day
It's an unbiblical song.
came over and was like, man, I listened to that song probably 6 times today. And then throughout the rest of the
That's
week,
actually the number I said.
yeah,
was,
I know.
yeah.
I remembered it. Throughout the rest of the week, up until like yesterday or day before yesterday, he was still talking about it. Yeah.
I put it on my kickboxing playlist.
Yeah. It like changed your life, blew your mind.
That is a top notch.
I can't believe you had not heard it
Very well done
prior
song.
to last
Like,
week.
I don't know any other song. I couldn't tell you who even sang that song.
You want me to tell you?
But, like,
we might as well give him credit.
You should know off the top of your head by
one
now.
hit, is it a one-hit wonder?
I had never heard of this guy.
Then yeah, I would assume so.
Let's see.
Got to be one of the better one-hit wonders of the 90s, especially.
Return of the Mac is by Mark Morrison.
I mean, there's
I don't
probably
know that
someone out there that's like, I can't believe you don't know this song.
Let's go to his actual.
It's fine.
No, here it is. Here are his top songs. Provide, which is actually his biggest song on there.
Then I might. Well, maybe we'd know that one if we.
It's got
heard
Chris
it.
Brown on it.
Oh, then I won't know that one.
Let's see. Return of the Mac. I'm on 2.0, and then it's 2 Return of the Mac extended and remix versions.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So this episode, All Stars, basically, now that I'm looking back at my notes, just tipped their hat right in the first scene. Trishelle doesn't want to be the first one to go home, which I guess she wasn't the first because Ace went home, but she's the first female, and well, congratulations.
Well, she didn't say female. She said person. It's like she was. I guess she was talking to Katie, and she kept saying she didn't want to be the first person to go home or the first person who everybody votes to go in. And then I was like, literally, Ace was just both of those the last episode.
Yeah, Trishelle's interesting. Her and Katie basically decide that they're not hiding their alliance because they lived together for 6 years, I think they said.
Yeah, they were like best friends.
Yeah.
Did you catch right at the opening scene Derek's previously on the challenge intro? We haven't gotten one of those in a while from like an actual competitor.
I can't say that
I think we get that every week on Double Agents.
But isn't it just from TJ going previously on the challenge?
Big T did it.
Yeah,
just a
I
couple
think,
weeks
Really?
ago.
I think they've been doing it, yeah.
I don't remember
Devin
that.
did it.
Yeah.
I know earlier in the season.
I didn't want to say for sure. I thought that was the case too, but I couldn't
Well,
definitively
my
say.
brain-
That blew your mind, huh?
Not really. My brain is just... I think Double Agents is so boring right now that it's not even absorbing in my brain.
I think the final for Double Agents is going to make up for this lull at the end. I hope so, at least.
You say that, Zach, but we don't know.
Yeah,
But
we
also,
don't know.
Here's one thing we won't talk about on Double Agents Pod, but I did see the thing you posted that was it Screen Rant or something. Basically, has been echoing what we said. Like,
do you think we led that charge?
I don't know, but it's got to be like a lot of people are saying that. But like Screen Rant did an article that's like, people are upset that the challenge keeps casting boring Big Brother players.
Whoa, that sounds like...
It's the exact thing we've been saying.
Yeah.
That sounds like something
like they're
you,
good,
Jake, specifically have been saying for like 6 weeks.
They're good competitors, but they're not good TV.
Have they listened to our podcast?
Yeah, who knows? Shout out Screen Rant if you're listening.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Hey,
give us some credit, please.
Yeah, just at us or something. Kendall, did you know Kendall does yoga to try and find out why she's here?
I need to do yoga.
You do, for your
I didn't
back.
get that as that's why she does yoga.
Well,
I thought
she did yoga, and Derek came up to her and he's like, "How many times are you going to do yoga today?"
By the way, super awkward. That was so weird. Like the
Yeah.
way Derek walked into that scene, like,
the whole conversation was
"Hey,
awkward.
how many times are you gonna do yoga today?" And it's like, okay, well, you want to be on.
Some people do it to meditate. It surprised me that she said that she's not here for the money. She's not competing for the money. And she was trying to figure out why she was there. But then later on, she finally says in the confessional that she wants to prove that after 17 years that she can still do this and do it better.
Yeah, because, I mean, the season she was on, we watched it not long ago. It's not the same level of competition, like, clearly.
No.
And I think the one elimination she was in, it was her and another girl just, like, walking back and forth, carrying something for, like, 3 hours. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it's not like what she did tonight.
No.
Yeah, I mean, she wants to prove herself. She's a mom of, I think, 3 kids, and she's a hospice nurse or something like that. And,
That's tough. That's a tough job to have.
Yeah, she didn't. I think Scott Yeager quote tweeted it at the beginning of this whole like pandemic thing. Kendall actually said like she was in her full like PPE get up where she's like got the mask on and then like the shield and all that stuff. And she's like, yeah, like the We Want OG stuff is cool, but it's like hard for, hospice nurses to get off in the middle of a pandemic. And clearly she did, she was able to work that out. But after all that, we get kind of like a hard cut to Trishelle and Aneesa outside. And basically Trishelle is just apologizing for the last time that I guess her and Aneesa, I don't know if that's the last time they spoke, but that's the last time they were on camera together during Rivals 2, which Trishelle quit later on.
Mm-hmm. She said a lot of
even back then, like
things.
yeah, it was 8 years ago or whatever, but
9.
even like back then, we were just like, well, why?
That's not something. They showed the clip of what actually happened and what exactly was said, and one, I can't understand why anyone would say those things or ask those things of someone to their face. But 2, even Aneesa in the clip was like, what is the point that you're trying to make?
I remember just watching it and like, okay, it's fine to like pick fight. Like, again, part of reality TV. It's like, you're going to pick fights, whatever. But like, she was like so fixated on, but you're black. How are you Jewish? And it's like, why does that matter? 2, who cares? And then like 3, like, why is this the point that you're trying to make right now? And like Aneesa, like rightfully so, was like, what's your problem? What is it? Why does it matter to you anything?
Yeah.
And good. I will give Trishelle is a lot of things. I will say she did own up to it. She's like, I was very ignorant. I've learned a lot since then. I shouldn't have said it. And like that's I think we've all seen like the wrong side of. There's a difference between holding people accountable and then there's like, oh, they're canceled, whatever. Like, you can learn and change as a person. Like, if you don't give people the room to grow, then what's the point? Because otherwise you're just hating on them and like doubling down. And I get people say awful things. It's whatever. But Trishelle in this example seemed to have come to like, oh, I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
I was not in the right place. I should not have come at this angle, and I want to get this off my chest and clear things up with Aneesa. And it seemed like Aneesa accepted it.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason why people should be upset about things like that being said is because it's wrong and there's no reason for it. But 2, the reason you get upset about it or call them out is because you want them to recognize the mistake.
Yeah.
learn how to do better and how not to make the same mistake again, learn the importance of why, and to apologize and genuinely mean it. And so you have to, like, I don't love cancel culture. You want someone to apologize and then be better, be an example for other people that have not been educated yet. I think it was nice that Trishelle said that, you know, she wanted to apologize in person, because I think doing things like that in person means a lot more, especially, you know, compared to like over text or even over the phone. However, waiting 9 years.
Yeah, it is weird. Just wait.
Waiting 9 years until you're on camera is whatever. I probably would have tried to meet up with Aneesa beforehand, but whatever, at least she did it. And Aneesa forgave her. She also said, you know, that she forgave her after it happened, like years ago, which I think speaks volumes of the character that Aneesa has, that she can be like, you know what, this person is ignorant and just doesn't know what she's doing, maybe. But at the end of the day, if she didn't forgive her, that's only going to eat away at her own peace of mind.
I've said a lot about Aneesa's competitiveness on the show. How I personally don't believe she's one of the greats. You can't deny the woman's character, though.
No.
What a stand-up gal.
Yeah.
And
you hear that, Kari?
And again, like, Aneesa knows, like, from her perspective, it would be, like, it doesn't benefit her to hold on to that. Like, she's just like, I just forgave her. I moved on. It's nice that you apologize for it and recognize what you did.
Yeah, and it meant a lot to her that she apologized.
And again, they seem to be on a good page. Trishelle is all over the place. Like, I mean, we see how she, like, goes after Katie, and then they're fine. I don't know. It's got to be a lot to be friends with her.
It's a lot to be friends with you.
Yeah. We go to the daily. TJ's favorite. TJ's favorite. And it's simple. It's trivia. Although I do think one of the things was a little weird. I'll get into that in a minute. But they called it Ancient Challenge History, which, guess what? That's better than, skip the volcano.
Uh-huh. Well, look no further than TJ's reaction throughout this
it's
daily.
his favorite thing.
To fully see that even for TJ, this season is a lot more fun than anything recently.
Mm-hmm. You can tell he's having fun.
But like, honestly, have we seen TJ laugh as hard as he did?
We had trivia this season, but it was
on
not
Double Agents.
The same. Yeah, that's what I mean, Double Agents.
I mean, he always laughs, right? But he was consistently just goofy.
He loves it.
But it was different.
Yeah, I agree. I get what you're saying.
I liked that it was challenge-specific trivia from decades ago, which, you know, some of these people haven't been on in decades. And so to see or to test how good their memory is, or how much they remember, because some of these people were on these seasons.
Some of them sucked, but some of them were killing it. I mean, we'll get
Aneesa's a trivia queen.
Yeah,
I did think it was a little early to have trivia this season. That's usually later on in the season. I didn't think it would be like day 2 stuff, but I didn't have a problem.
There's only 9 episodes.
Yeah, I guess.
But also, I don't think there's ever been like a set time when trivia happens.
No, I just feel like when we've had it in the past, it's been at least closer to the halfway mark.
That bothered you?
No, not really. I just was like, it's a little early, but that's fine. I like Trivia Day because TJ loves it.
Trivia is a good one with a lot of people because you get to see a little bit from each person, because each person has to compete and contribute in some degree. The one thing I didn't like about it, I didn't like that the platforming was weight-based, because it doesn't, like, so it should be, if you get 3 questions wrong, you fall, or you get 2 questions wrong, you fall. There was no consistency to that, and so, like, you had some people that fell after 2 questions, you had some that got up to, like, 4, like Kendall was off the edge because she's so small. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's the only thing I did not like about this, because you just didn't give everyone a fair chance as far as, like, you just weigh more, you better not get questions wrong, because someone else that's smaller can, they get another go.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But other than that, that's a very small issue
to
compared to, some of the other things we've seen with dailies.
I know Mark Long is like the brains behind this entire season, but I did like the fact that clearly he was not given a heads up about exactly like what. Maybe he knew there was going to be a trivia day, but he didn't know, is it challenge related or what the questions were, because he was the first person to miss a question.
Well, also, like, Mark Long's not the type of guy that, from what I know, he's not going to want like that, because if it came off that like, oh, Mark's got an inside route to this, like, one, competitors are going to be pissed, and two, like,
people aren't going to watch.
People would be like, oh, well, this is kind of
rigged.
Yeah, it's weird. So the last woman standing is safe, and then the first woman to fall in goes into elimination right away, which, again, the weight thing's a little weird, but when they started going, I was like, these questions aren't necessarily easy.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't know a lot of them.
I feel like I did okay. Jake and I actually did a podcast trivia, I guess is what we would call it.
Mm-hmm.
It was us, and then
Couch Potators.
The Couch Potators were the one that hosted it, and then Jake and I were a team against a guy, I think his name was Steve from The Right Reality. I may have got that wrong, sorry. And Ephraim and another guy from the You Killed It, the US version. And we thought we were going to be awful. And
the exact opposite applied.
We were Ruthie and Anissa.
Uh-huh. Was it Trishelle that was one of my answers that was out of nowhere?
Yeah, it was one of Sarah's partners that got her sent home.
Yeah,
and it was Rivals too. The thing we saw, and so yeah, like it was interesting to see these, and some of these like I just didn't know. Cyrus was the first guy to fall. Again, he's a pretty big dude, and so that obviously doesn't help. And I didn't write a lot down. Like I didn't write like, oh, cool question or anything like that, but.
He did. He just didn't want to talk about it.
Nehemiah and Tech were the last two. Mm-hmm. By the way, Tech is very tall and very skinny. Also, I love his red hat that he wears.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
But like a guy like Tech, like he was last on like 2000, 2001 or something like that. So the fact that he's able to stay in like that,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I think, was it Tech's last question? He guessed like the gauntlet, and TJ was like, "It was the gauntlet," and he's like, "Yeah, I did it, 3," and then he lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think we heard Ruthie's first word spoken for the season during this daily. Yeah,
she didn't talk last episode.
I don't remember it. Go back and look. She get any fantasy points last week? I don't think she got anything.
Let's see. She was on your team.
Nope.
Anissa didn't either.
Anissa got a lot of points this episode.
Kellyanne didn't either. Oh, Kellyanne was basically absent in this episode.
Yeah. Well, Nehemiah ended up winning the guys round.
He wins the lifesaver.
He gets the lifesaver. It confused me that Beth just assumes that Nehemiah will use his lifesaver on her if she loses or is voted into elimination.
Beth assumes a lot about their relationship.
And then she called him her tenderoni again.
Mm-hmm.
In like almost like a justification of him using his lifesaver on her, which again she's still assuming he's going to do.
We've interviewed Nehemiah and Wes within like the last 6 months, and that situation with Beth has come up in both interviews, and they both are like, it is not what Beth has perceived it to be. And
it's just weird.
Yeah. Also, shout out to I can't remember who messaged us on Twitter, because I think last week we were like, I don't know what Beth's relationship status is, but she's married and got a couple kids. So thank you for who sent us that on Twitter.
That makes this weirder.
I think it's totally playful.
Yeah,
I don't think she's being serious about it.
I don't think she's like, oh, I'm trying to hook up with Nehemiah.
No.
I think she's trying to play off her old
either.
storylines.
I think it's weird that she's doing that. It's just weird to me. Because I wouldn't like. I'm married to Zach. If I went on this and had like the same like history, I would not be constantly bringing it up.
I think like that's one, other than like, honestly, if I'm thinking back on Beth on the challenge, the only two things I remember about her on the challenge are the Nehemiah thing and getting punched in the head from Tina, which, shout out, was a question. Who punched Beth in the head?
Fantasy points involved there.
Good.
I hope.
So they get to the girls round.
Well, and no, let's one last little thing.
Okay, go for it.
Just Katie getting hit in the face again.
Oh,
we're not there yet.
I said we get to the girls' round.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought we were just totally past the daily.
No.
There's all kinds of stuff that happened in the girls' round. Like, first of all, Trishelle, we found out, doesn't watch or give a crap about Johnny Bananas.
Which, by the way, someone sent him that clip, and he quote tweeted it and was just like, "Well, we know who's not getting anything from my Christmas list this year," and he gets it. He's not worried about what Trishelle thinks about him. But it was interesting that Alyssa did not know that he had won the most seasons.
Yeah, that was
That's a big oversight.
He just won the last season, and it was like a big, huge deal. It was everywhere.
I mean, again, he's won 7.
That's major.
Let's see. Trishelle, first to fall. She's going
straight to elimination. Yeah. Good quote from TJ when he was asking Katie a question. He said something about how many people go into elimination, and she said,
"No, on the island specifically.
On the island." And she said, "I don't know, 1." And he said, "Oh my God, Katie, who are they going to go against? Themselves?"
The island was weird. I will give her that. It was there was a voting part, and then there was you got a tube that did something. Do you remember that? You could pass it to
a key.
Yeah,
to the boat you had to build.
Which we found out that Cohutta and Abe tried to build their own boat, and production just shut it down. But yeah, it was, and so when Abe left, he passed it on to somebody else, so someone could earn a key, but that doesn't mean they're guaranteed to go to the final, that type of thing. But yeah, an elimination is not going to be one person.
Yeah. It was just funny. And she was petrified this entire time. And I thought it was just maybe the heights thing, but then I was reminded via clip of Katie's real reason for being terrified of this is because the last time... Cutthroat. The last time she did something like this where she was high in the sky above an ocean, she busted her face open and she was afraid of doing it again.
It's not that. She got 2 black eyes and she had them for the rest of the time on Cutthroat. And then, ironically, everyone else was completely fine in this daily, and somehow she hits her face and bloodies up. And the only other time I remember something like that really happened was with Anissa, right? Where they launched her on one of those, and she flipped into the water and busted her face up pretty bad.
Maybe it
was on it may have been Rivals 1.
I remember that happening, but I don't remember it being Anissa.
I think we're reaching here, guys.
No, I think I'm pretty sure it was Anissa.
Regardless, it was just funny that Katie was really afraid of that, and then of course it happened again.
Well, and then that's why Kendall supposedly quits. She just walks off the thing, and then TJ's like, no, you got to go through.
And she instead sits down in front of TJ's podium. And then I was like, does that mean that she's disqualified? Because no way are they going to just let her continue competing.
Well, I mean, no, she's done, but she was supposed to go into the water like everyone else. And, they just move on. And I was like, well, that's definitely going to put a target on her. Because people aren't going to like that she didn't, follow through.
It was the only one not to do it.
Yeah. Then we get the Ruthie and Anissa showdown where they're killing it. They're going back and forth, question after question. And, I said they were Jake and I in the
That's
thing
right.
we did. And Anissa ultimately wins, which is what I would expect because she's done so many more seasons.
But also she's really good at trivia.
Well, no, just Ruthie's been away from the show for so long that I figured Anissa would have the upper hand, but shout out to Ruthie for staying in there. Anissa wins. Trishelle, when they get back to the house, basically pulls everyone together and says that she thinks she wants Beth in elimination, but then they all agree that Kendall should have finished like everyone else.
Well, Trishelle asks them if she should go against Beth. That's what she thinks, but she's not sure. And
what did I just say?
Anissa is the one that threw out Kendall's name, but Kellyanne didn't like that. She argued that Kendall was a really strong physical competitor, which she doesn't look like it, and she'd only done the one season 17 years ago, and so I wasn't really sure about that.
Oh, but she's in good shape compared to a lot of these people.
Yeah, but compared to Beth, do you think Kendall would be an easier or harder competition for Trishelle?
It completely depends on the elimination.
Because Beth is bigger.
Yeah, much bigger. But Kendall's going to have more stamina and
endurance and stuff. It was just that Kellyanne was really concerned that Aneesa brought up Kendall's name at all. But Aneesa argued that, well, Kendall was the one that didn't even complete the daily and just quit.
Well, yeah, that was the whole thing last week. They were like, hey, are we going to do this merit based and just go from there?
Because that's how they used to do it back in the day.
To an extent. Like they like to say that, but they would just also just pick on rookies and whatever else.
Yeah, but also that was like a really big argument several seasons ago when Tanya was really mad at, I guess it was Derek. She was like, it's supposed to be, they had voted her into elimination, and she was mad because she was like, it's supposed to be based on merit.
But Tanya's a wild card. Yeah, anything with logic. I mean, that was fresh meat that was on. It's, again, like that's what
if that was fresh meat, you're voting a rookie in every time.
Yeah. Although they that to his point, her partner's a rookie. Yeah. So the merit-based thing is convenient until it doesn't make sense anymore, and then because you can hide behind it, right? Oh, I was just voting you because it was merit-based, but then like when you need to make a move, like you're just like, well, Tanya was the clear vote, and I think even I don't remember the specifics of that fresh meat situation, but Tanya was the right call from what I remember. So Trishelle basically says, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You decide for me who to go in, which is a pretty dumb way to do that.
Yeah.
Considering Latarian's like, I want this guy, and they all voted for who they wanted. So they go to nomination, and immediately Hysela calls out Kendall. Rightfully so.
And Kendall spazzes.
I mean, she was stammering. Like it's just like when you're trying to collect your words because you know you're like caught.
Yeah, but she also started jumping around a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They showed her
jumping around?
She was jumping around.
As
part of her defense on like why she quit, she was like, they showed a whole montage of her trying to defend herself and giving like this really spazzed out speech, and she was just jumping from side to side and from back to front, and it was just really weird.
Oh, her mouth got dry.
I think she was just showing like where.
I know, but she did it a lot, and it was just really weird. And then Hysela's like, she can't even get her words out to defend herself, and you know, something along the lines of, if you're stammering like this, then that tells me that you're lying.
She clearly, I don't know if she's lying, but like clearly she knew that like she should have done.
She's trying to come up with anything.
Yes.
Anything other than the fact that she did not want to.
You're throwing ideas at the wall and hoping something sticks. Because if somebody's like, that's a good point, then you could maybe sway the room. Because then she was like, well, what about the next person that fell? And like Hysela's like, well, that would be me. She's like, you want me to go in?
And she did. She's like, well, my vote's for Hysela. And then everybody else in the house voted for Kendall.
Everyone watched it. Like, here's the thing.
Except for Darrell.
Yeah, but that's just because they're from the road rules together. If you're here to compete with this group of people specifically, they all signed up to compete and to do this thing. So it is a little bit of a slap in the face to not go through with the stuff, because you guys have been given an incredible chance that, one, it's $500,000.
It's more money than almost all of these people have ever competed for.
Well, not even just that, but like, these people have been so far removed from TV that they're lucky that they are brought back to this point. And there's a lot of ex-challenge people who would have killed to make this first cut. So it is kind of a slap in the face that she didn't follow through with it, because it's what she signed up for.
Yeah.
So I don't have any, like, we love Kendall. We interviewed her. She's really nice. I don't have any problem with people voting Kendall in.
Yeah.
So Darrell was the only outlier, and he burned on Katie.
Yeah. And it was a joke, and Katie didn't get upset about it or anything.
No.
But he was also one of the last people to vote, so a burn vote
he knew he didn't
is okay then.
Again, he knew it didn't matter at that point.
Back at the house, Derek is the one that actually goes to tell Trishelle that Kendall was the one voted in which case Trishelle gets really mad at Katie because Katie didn't immediately come to tell her. Instead, she wanted to get something to eat first.
Again, being friends with Trishelle's got to be exhausting.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle this.
We have no context of how long they have been back at the house. Could have been 5 minutes.
I mean, Katie just said I wanted to grab food first.
It made it sound like maybe dinner was ready and waiting on them when they got back.
I mean, if you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah.
What would they have for dinner that night? Do we know?
I don't think they covered that.
Because there's context, too.
It could be something delicious.
It could have been chopped up steak and rice.
Also, it doesn't even matter. It's not going to change. Like, the vote's not going to change because Katie got dinner first. It's not like she had to get up there and, like, it was time sensitive. Like, who cares? Like, Trishelle's just making a good example, which I know she's not going to listen to this, so it doesn't matter. We played tennis last night with my sister and my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And the last time we had played tennis,
which was Tuesday,
Hannah and I were on one team against them two, so it was like married couples against each other. Then we switched, and it was my sister and I versus Hannah and my brother-in-law. So the only logical team that we had not played with yet was me and my brother-in-law versus Hannah and my sister.
The girls versus the guys.
Yeah, so we go out, and then my brother-in-law just suggests, like, hey, yeah, like, let me play with Zach, because we haven't done that yet. And my sister took it so offensively. She's like, I can't believe you're breaking up these teams. You're making me look like nobody wants to play with me. And I
thought she was joking at first, but after the first 30 minutes of this going on, and she was going on about it, and I was like, oh, she's serious.
I was like, it's not that. I was like, this is literally the only group of people that haven't played together. And I was like, Hannah and I, she's like, but you just can't break up the teams. Me and Adam were a team. And I was like, no. I was like, Hannah and I hardly ever play together when we play doubles.
We don't like it.
But also, it's just like, it's not a big deal. And it reminded me so much of Trishelle, is like, you're making an issue over something.
A non-issue.
And it's just like, there's something else going on that you're upset about, but you're making this to be the big thing.
Yeah.
Jake's going through something very similar right now, which we're not going to talk about. But
anyway.
The real problem is Zach's got to learn to follow through.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you.
Yeah, good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tennis related, guys. Also, it's a lie.
So in the middle of Trishelle getting upset, because let me just say this. I kind of understand if dinner was at the house waiting once everybody got back, I understand wanting to get your food first for two reasons. One, if she goes to Trishelle first, you have no idea how long Trishelle's going to want to talk about it.
Exactly.
And the food may be cold by the time you get down there. Two, the food might be gone by the time you get back down there.
Well, they're not going to starve you.
And no, I mean,
you can't even talk.
God.
Think of how many people are in this house, and there's some big guys that probably eat a lot of food. I don't want to take the chance of them going back for seconds and thirds and me not even getting firsts. So, also, when's the last time they ate? She could have been starving. Couldn't wait to get back to the house
I don't
and
think
eat.
you need to make all these excuses. It's dumb for Trishelle to get mad.
It's dumb for Trishelle to get mad about that. Like, there's so many reasons why Katie would get food before going to Trishelle. And she could have been fixing a plate to take up there with her. And it was so stupid. And then Trishelle decided to get really personal. And, like pull out things from when they lived together and throwing it at Katie's face, which is not cool. If that's your best friend, you shouldn't do stuff like that. But also, part of the reason why Zach and I
feel
have
like
been...
you were like on something tonight.
Part of the reason why Zach and I have been asking for a best friend season. Because when they get in a fight, they pull up personal stuff.
This did meet the qualifications of a best friend top pairing.
Agreed, because they lived together for so long. They've known each other for like 15 years or something like that. And Trishelle went immediately to very hurtful personal things. And Katie, like, to her credit, like, I think she knows, like, hey, I've got kids. I've moved on with this for my life. I don't want what you've seen in the past to happen again, because they showed clips.
Yeah, she referenced it and said, she's like, the Katie you see now is not the Katie I used to be, and I don't want to go back to that.
But man, Trishelle was really trying to bring that, and like, the clip they cut to, or not clip, but like they're like, oh, it's 4:12 in the morning, and then like Trishelle's saying stuff, and Katie just
goes off.
But you gotta think, how long?
Yeah, it's probably been hours.
What time was dinner?
Probably 7.
We were on the same wavelength there,
okay.
man. I was going to say 7 or 8.
So probably at minimum like 6 hours ago. Trishelle has probably been on this for that long. And, like, yeah, I don't blame Katie for... And then she gets real personal about it again and is like, oh, this is why you are not a good friend, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you're projecting, one, and then two... Like, Katie really hasn't done anything in this situation.
Yeah, she's not done a dadgum thing.
And she hasn't made it personal.
No. And then, she tells Trishelle to let go of things, like, that she needs to let go of some things from ages ago.
She literally said it happened 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you were never a good friend when we lived together. And she's like, Trishelle, this was 16 years ago. Leave it alone. Or grow up or something like that. And
by the end of it, she finally tells her to just have Nehemiah save Kendall and throw her into elimination.
Which is a good twist. That would have been a good twist.
Yet again, here we go with some big build-up and nothing. I hate it.
That would have been nice, though.
That would have been
awesome.
Yeah. From just a viewership perspective, that'd have been cool.
Katie's like, screw it. But here's the thing. I think that they just blown up. Because we saw at the end, like, they hug it out and they're fine.
Do you think they're fine, or do you think Katie's really like, well, she's still like this 16 years later. I probably don't need her in my life.
Katie literally said,
we've outgrown each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. I think that's a reasonable thing. You had Jimmy getting involved in it for God knows what reason. I know she's close with Trishelle in real life. You don't have to jump on me about that, anyone listening.
But this was a fight between two best friends.
Yeah. And so anyway, they go to the crater. And
is it the crater, or is that
it's the arena?
Double Agents?
It's the arena. I wrote crater, but it's the arena. That's what this one is in All Stars. We're filming we're not filming. We're recording 2 shows simultaneously. It is what it is. Nehemiah doesn't save Kendall. I don't think anyone expected him to. He said early on he didn't even really want the responsibility because then you have to justify why you're not saving someone. Mm-hmm. It's nothing personal against Kendall. She just didn't complete the daily, so I don't think he had any reason to save her. We saw right away. We knew what the elimination was. It's a good elimination.
I like this elimination.
I like this elimination too because it puts everyone on an equal playing field, and you never know who's going to win. What was it? Laurel and Camilla. Camilla came out, and I think Laurel would win that one a few seasons ago.
It's an endurance competition or elimination. Like it
is, but it's also you've got to be smart about how you tie it up.
Exactly. It looks like it's going to be strength based because that rope is really heavy and you've got to climb and tie and whatever, but it's more endurance and also mental on you've got to plan out exactly how you're going to tie it up, otherwise you're going to get stuck and jack yourself up.
Yeah, it's called Not So Fast, and
that's creative.
Yeah.
KNOT, I'm assuming. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they've called it every time, but that's what they called it here. Why are you pointing at me?
TJ has a nice air horn.
He did.
I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, well, we'll point it out. He did. He blew that air horn. He said, "Hey,
nice air horn."
Yeah, nice air horn.
So before that, he explained that you have 20 minutes to set it up. Like basically, you get 20 minutes to make as much mess as you want, and then you switch. And the first person to untangle completely, get the entire rope out and into the other circle, wins. And and it's not just untangling a rope. You're tethered to it, like it's around your waist, and so you have to actually climb through the different knots and all that type of stuff, which is a good. Because if you're just like untying a rope, that's not fun. So nice air horn then happens, and there's not much to say. I mean, Kendall just does better. And
Trishelle started gassing out.
That doesn't surprise me. Kendall again works out a lot. She does yoga all the time.
She's got good endurance.
Trishelle's like, I just hang out by a pool,
drink cocktails.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the quote.
Kendall does way better whenever they show the final shot of the elimination and Kendall pulls the last bit of rope in. Like, it doesn't look like Trishelle's done a whole lot. And it was very interesting because Trishelle went high first on her setup. Mm-hmm. So then Kendall would have to go high last. But Kendall just made like a knot on the side.
You know,
one big knot.
I thought about that. Like, what if you just made it a point to just tie one gigantic
as tight
knot
as possible?
I feel like CT did that one time in this elimination. Yeah, like instead of just going all over the place because they're not tied so tight, and there's a clear path.
Yes,
right. Whereas if you just tie this thing as tight as you can,
and
in
then
one spot,
and then they have to actually climb through those knots
and pull the rope
through,
which it's already tight. So there's gonna be some friction.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know why you're
that's
offered
vocabulary
that up to me.
again. Yeah. I will say this. A few days ago, I was just thinking about this elimination, and every now and then, like, I think this.
Why were you just randomly thinking about this elimination?
I don't know, because I really like this elimination. But listen, every now and then, I'll think about eliminations that I really like that I would like to try, and sometimes I wish that we had enough land that we could set up stuff like this and like have some of our friends over and try it. I would love to do this one.
Yeah.
I would love to do just to see, like, how would I do this? How would I tie the knot? Would I try to spider web it? Would I try to do what Kendall did? What's the best approach to it that would make it as difficult as possible for, like, if I'm going against Jake, for him to untie? I mean, I think this would be fun to do, to try.
I think this was Kendall's elimination to lose, just based on she's smaller. It's easier for her to maneuver around.
He totally just ran around the whole building this in the backyard thing.
That's because we're not going to do it.
Jake, would you do this with me?
I would love to, Han.
Thanks.
But you and I aren't good with our hands, and that we can't build things.
I've actually never tried.
It's not my gift. I can't do it. Zach, on the other hand,
he's a fixer.
He is. He can build. He built you a shoe rack.
I fixed your washing machine.
He fixed my washing.
I took your washing machine apart based on YouTube and
Didn't
fixed
he
it.
fix your dryer a few years ago too?
I think that we're talking about the same thing.
There's a good chance.
Yeah.
I fixed your hot water heater.
Yes, you did.
What else does he fix?
I could get you to come by and look at my garbage disposal.
I don't want to. Those are gross.
Well, it ain't working.
Oh, if it's electrical, I'm not messing with it.
You don't do electrical. That's where you draw the line.
You can die.
You can die. You get shocked
You draw
and
the
die.
line there.
Yeah, because I don't know enough about it, but I do know enough that I know. Oh, it's very dangerous.
Would you do it for $1 million?
Yes.
No, just buy another disposal. I guess.
How much are those?
You can get one for like $150.
You can get one for like 80, honestly.
You think that's what it is? You think I need a new disposal?
It's possible.
It's probably just
but
really
you
old.
have to have someone to install it. It's not just like you push it up in there.
It just snaps into place.
Huh.
You have to get it connected to electrical stuff.
I guess Trishelle is not the person that quits in the middle of this season. If she went home, she just went home, and I was dead set sure she was the one that was going to quit. So
I like it.
Now I really don't know.
No, I think it's going to be an elimination, and I think it's going to be something physical, and someone's just going to bow out and be like, "I'm done," and they're not going to want to do it.
Okay.
I don't have any insider info on that. I'm just guessing. But yeah, Trishelle, when she goes to leave, she goes up and hugs Katie. They're fine, and that's when Katie says, I feel like
they've outgrown each other.
Yeah, okay. Well, you didn't seem to remember that quote earlier.
Well, I have it written down here. I didn't have it with my other stuff. I like that Kendall said that she still wants to play with integrity, but also that she realizes the need to play smarter and keep her eye on some people.
At the end of the day, it's $500,000. You got to do what you can to stay in the game and to keep going further. You have to be smart or political, but that doesn't mean you have to, be the most integrity-driven person. You can't. They are playing so far that it is merit-based, and you have to follow through. So, like, do the dailies, at least try, and then go from there. I think we all love the people that suck the most.
Go straight to elimination.
Go into elimination.
I love it. It's great.
And then you go from there. I do like the lifesaver aspect. I wonder when or if that's going to come into play. It would be kind of a shame if we go all season and nobody uses it. Man, you were just on me tonight. I can't even get a sentence out.
I know. I'm trying to get on your nerves.
My grandmother's calling. We put her on the pod before, but you don't want her on the
No, I just want to wrap this up.
That's fine.
Because
we're at our superlatives.
Hold on. Can I tell her I'll call her back in a minute?
Okay.
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, Jake.
Hey, grandmother, you're on the pod. You have anything you want to say?
Yes. Are you okay?
I am.
Weather okay? Has it settled down there?
We really don't know, grandmother.
Are you going to call her Uncle
Okay,
Grandmother?
Get off the pod now.
Huh?
I just wanted to make sure you were safe. You said I was on your podcast.
Well, give everyone a word of wisdom.
Just be safe.
Be safe. God bless, grandmother. Bye.
I hope that all picked up. We'll see.
That's a good word of wisdom.
Be safe, everyone.
If you didn't hear it, she just said be safe. Yeah.
Be safe.
Quick and easy.
Again, there's some storms and stuff coming through, but it doesn't even sound like it's raining right now. If I'm being, I have headphones on, but I usually could hear it otherwise.
No, I think that first set already went through. We are supposed to get another line of pretty bad storms coming through later tonight, probably in the next like 2-3 hours.
Here we go, right here. She's doing it right there. She's doing
What? Smashed Heads, Kendall. She did really well in this elimination.
Jake, what's yours?
I'm going to give it to Anissa and Ruthie for their challenge knowledge.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I thought about that, but since you guys went that way, I'm going to give it to Nehemiah. Same reason.
Yeah.
Nehemiah. He did look out that he got a question early on that the answer was Wes, which we didn't hear what the question was because, they kind of cut some of those out just for time's sake. But, I think we covered all the bases on everybody. You could say TJ because he loved killing everybody. Mm-hmm. So who got their head smashed?
Katie, when she fell and busted her face yet again.
Beth all those years ago.
She got punched in the head.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to give it to Trishelle. She started this episode off like, I hope I don't go home. And then you go home. That's it.
That's it.
Good job.
You got anything else you want to depart on the people? We gave all of our plugs. Patreon.com/SmashingHeads Podcast. Check it out. There's lots of stuff on there. Follow us on social media at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. I know people probably get tired of me saying that, but every week we have new people that follow us on all of those. So
right. I don't have anything. Do you want to get right into this fantasy segment is brought to you by Starter.
Just do it.
All right, we're kicking things off here. 10 points to Katie and Trishelle for the friendship backstory.
okay.
Yeah. Kendall yoga sessions, 5 points. Derek's pants, 5 points. Y'all see his pants?
I did actually. Yeah.
I don't remember them.
By the way, yeah. Kendall's in a weird headspace, -5.
You went Baba.
But she's here for her kids, 10 points. Because we're here for the kids.
FTK.
Anissa and Trishelle healing sesh, 10 points. Let's see. Trishelle apologizes, 5 points. Anissa's heart is touched, 5 points. Anissa forgives, 5 points. Trishelle was wrong, immature, and stupid, -10. But she has since educated herself, 5 points. John A is doing it for her family, 5 points. I think those are the only points. She's the alternate, but we want to.
Oh, so I need to write that down.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
What did Derek did the what was that? The crouching tiger, hidden dragon pose.
I didn't see it. So.
5 points. Just that's all it is. Let's see. -10 to Cyrus for being the first one through. Oh yeah, Tina punched Beth in the face. -5 to Beth.
Tina would be one I would like to see on one of these shows again.
Yeah. Ruthie's first word spoken. She's like a baby. 5 points. Nehemiah wins. 25. Alyssa is a mental girl. 5 points.
I don't even know what that's in reference to.
But she got the who has won the most seasons question wrong. -5.
Yeah.
Anissa doesn't need a gauntlet. She'll cut you with words. 10 points.
Hannah and I both thought that was Coral, by the way.
Yeah.
10 points. You gave her 5.
Oh, it sounded like a Coral quote.
It did. But it was not. It was Anissa.
Yeah.
So 10 points to Anissa.
Let's go, Anissa.
Trishelle don't give an F about bananas. 5 points. We'll give her 5. But negative 10 because she was the first one through. Negative 10 because she's going straight into elimination.
Isn't that the same thing?
Nope.
Okay.
At one point, TJ looked at Kellyanne and said, "That's how you do it, Kellyanne." 5 points. Don't remember the context, but
I don't remember her doing anything in this episode.
Oh God, Katie hit her face again. Negative 10. What just happened to Kendall? Negative 5. That's when she just sat down.
Yeah.
Anissa is an encyclopedia of knowledge. 5 points. 25 because she also wins. And did a little dance. 5 points.
She did do a little dance.
10 points to her because she's safe. And 10 points to Nehemiah for having the lifesaver. By the way, those points as far as safety, lifesaver, and straight into elimination all carried over from last week.
Okay.
All right? Before anybody wants to call me out for anything.
I wasn't planning on it.
Anissa says Kendall, we'll keep it clean, shat the bed. Is that clean? Can I say that?
Is this points related?
Yeah. Negative 5 to Kendall if that's really the case. Kendall is having a hard time with her story time. Negative 5. Hisela is suspicious. 5 points. Negative 10 to Kendall for being voted in. Negative 5 to Trishelle because nobody wants to tell her.
That's not the case. Derek told her immediately. She was just mad at Katie.
Well, you know what? 5 points to Derek because he was the first one to spill the beans. This turned out to be a big deal.
Open a can of worms.
He was like, "Oh, nobody said anything. That's weird."
He did. It was like he stirred the pot.
Friendship fracture. Trishelle and Katie. Negative 10.
By the way, you said that like that's like a catchphrase.
Like we should have a button for friendship fracture.
Like, he stopped. He can't even compose himself now.
Can you put that in?
No, I'm not doing that.
When are we going to get one of those boards we can just press a button and it just...
Like on radio talk shows?
But here's the thing. I didn't know that would have been coming. I would have known. Like, we didn't like talk about, hey, I got a friendship fracture coming in.
Why don't we have a button for that?
Oh my God, guys, we got a friendship fracture.
Yeah. I don't want to turn into a morning radio show.
I do.
Oh God. Katie ain't taking nobody's expletive. 5 points. 4 a.m. and still fighting. Negative 5 to Trishelle and Katie.
I figured they'd get points because it's...
Well, hold on, we're getting there.
Okay, because it was a fight.
Classy just went right out that window. Hisela, 5 points. I don't know why I wrote on all these.
Uh-oh.
Trishelle's getting personal. Negative 5. But we reward fights. I've given out so many negatives, so 15 points each to Katie and Trishelle. Katie wants to go in now. 10 points. But negative 5 because she didn't follow through. Not 110.
Yeah, I got
that
it.
is just 10.
I'll take 110.
Everything just fades away for Kendall. 5 points. Y'all remember that?
No.
Uh-oh.
Everything faded away.
Alton's going fishing again. 5 points.
Man, him and Darrell didn't give me anything this episode.
Neither did Tech.
Darrell provides tunnel vision. 5 points.
There you go.
Kendall's having easy fun. 5 points. She's picturing the kids. 5 points. Trishelle gets gassed. Negative 5. Kendall wins. That's 50 points. Trishelle loses. Negative 25. Katie and Trishelle have outgrown each other. It's sad. Negative 5 to each of them. And Kendall's fire is fueled and she is stronger. 10 points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your fantasy segment for the week, brought to you by Starter.
Just do it.
I don't know why Zach's not chiming in when we do that.
I don't
I gotta get my math together.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick break while we do some math. And we're back. Again, one last time, that fantasy segment brought to you by Starter.
Just do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
So, Mark Long got Hannah 0. Nehemiah got her 35. Ace has been eliminated. Beth got her -5. Katie ended up with 5 total. And then Kendall got her 60. And then Latarian got her 0.
For such a big Latarian week last week.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So she ended up with 95 for the week. Jake, Derek, Kay got you 15. Ruthie got you 5. Anissa got you 75. And then the rest of your team got you 0s.
Oh, God.
Big
I
Easy
didn't realize
0,
that.
Jimmy 0, Yes 0. Arissa scored twice, but they canceled each other out. You ended up with 95 for the week as well, though.
Pretty good.
Shout out to Anissa.
Yeah, Anissa carried you big time. Biggest scorer of the week. Alton got me 5. Darrell got me 5. Kellyanne got me 5. Cyrus got me -10. Trishelle got me -40. Tech got me 0. And then Hasela got me 10. John A. got nobody 5 points. But I ended up with a -25 for the week.
Ooh.
Because Trishelle got -40 and then nobody else really did anything. So as of right now, the weekly updates is I am in last place with 160. Jake is in second with 210. And Hannah is now in first with 235.
Ooh, it's close, guys.
It's close.
It is.
It's close. You guys have each had one person eliminated.
Yep.
I still have my full roster.
Which is the exact opposite of the other one, the double agents.
Yep. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about my team. I know I didn't get a lot of contributors this week. There is an Anissa-Ruthie fight next week, it looks like.
It looks like Ruthie is she's basically F you Anissa.
Yeah, so got a good feeling.
She's definitely going to get you more than 5 next week for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Should be guys elimination. But other than that, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. And we still are doing double agents, and we will be doing, more interviews when they come. We'll be doing these as long as they go for 9 episodes, it seems. We have not watched any of the after shows, but apparently they're good. So if you have Paramount Plus and you're watching these, go check those out somehow. But it's just we don't recap the after shows, so we're just not going to do that. We got too many other things to do right now, guys. But they are good from what I've heard in our Slack group, things like that.
It's been a fun one. Have a good night, everyone.